Imagine pulling into your driveway after a long day, only to be blinded by flashing blue and red lights. Cops swarming like you've just robbed a bank, except your only crime was daring to live outside some petty neighborhood tyrant's grasp. And the woman behind it all? A self-crowned HOA queen named Karen. Clipboard in hand, smirking like she's untouchable until her whole empire crumbles in the most deliciously ironic twist. In the sleepy suburbs of Evergreen Heights, Colorado, where manicured lawns hid a web of ridiculous rules, Jack Harlan thought he'd found his slice of American freedom. A retired software engineer in his late 50s, Jack had spent years crunching code in Silicon Valley before cashing out and buying a modest ranch-style home on the outskirts of the development. No frills, just enough land for a vegetable garden and a hammock under the aspens. His wife, Mia, a no-nonsense district attorney who'd seen her share of courtroom dramas, loved the quiet too. "This is our reset button," she'd say, pouring coffee on the porch as the morning fog lifted. But Evergreen Heights wasn't as peaceful as the real estate brochures promised. Lurking beneath the picket fences was the HOA board, led by the infamous Barbara Karen Voss, a 52-year-old busybody who'd clawed her way to president through endless committee meetings and whispered alliances. Barbara preached community harmony like gospel, but her version meant fining folks for the wrong shade of mulch or banning bird feeders that attracted unsavory wildlife. Jack's house sat just beyond the official boundary, a fact he'd triple-checked with county records before signing the deed. No covenants, no dues, no drama, he muttered to himself that first day, hammering in a mailbox post. Little did he know, Barbara saw boundaries as suggestions, not laws, and she was about to make his life a satirical hell. It started innocently enough, or so it seemed, with a glossy pamphlet slipping into Jack's mailbox like an uninvited guest. "Welcome to Evergreen Heights HOA. Your new community guidelines enclosed." Jack chuckled, tossing it onto the kitchen counter. "Looks like someone's got bad aim with their mail drop," he told Mia over dinner. She scanned it, her lawyer eyes narrowing. "This isn't a mistake. See the fine print? They're claiming an expansion vote pulled your lot in last month." The next morning, Barbara rolled up in her pristine white SUV, pearls gleaming under the Colorado sun, a stack of papers clutched like Holy Writ. "Mr. Harlan, so glad to finally meet our newest member," she cooed, extending a manicured hand. Jack stepped out, wiping garden dirt from his palms. "Afternoon. But there's a mix-up, my property's not part of your HOA." Her smile froze, lips twitching like a glitchy algorithm. "Oh. Honey. Boundaries evolve. The board unanimously approved the annexation to maintain our standards. Here's your starter kit, approved paint swatches, lawn height specs, and your first dues invoice, only $250 quarterly for pool access you won't use." Jack crossed his arms. "Ma'am, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but county maps say otherwise. I've got the deed right here." He pulled out a folded printout, pointing to the clear line. Barbara waved it off with a laugh that sounded like cracking plastic. "Paperwork is so last century. Join us, and you'll see, it's all about unity." As she drove away, Jack watched her taillights fade, a knot forming in his gut. Mia joined him, shaking her head. "She's testing the waters. People like her don't hear no, they rewrite it." That evening, whispers started online in the neighborhood Facebook group. "New guy on Elm thinks he's above the rules. Bet he lets his grass grow wild." Jack saw the posts but stayed silent, screenshotting each one. "Let them talk," he said calmly. "Talk's cheap, evidence isn't." The violations piled up like bad code errors. each one more absurd than the last. First, a neon yellow notice taped to the fence: non-compliant garden gnomes, remove within 7 days or face $100 fine. Jack's gnomes were tomato steaks. He peeled it off, snapping a photo. Gnomes? Really? Mia snorted. Next they'll fine us for breathing unapproved air. Barbara's emails followed. From an official-sounding address: Dear Mr. Harlan, your driveway gravel exceeds particle size limits. Uniformity ensures aesthetic appeal, rectify immediately. Jack replied politely, attaching county proof, respectfully. This isn't your jurisdiction. Silence for a day. Then another zinger: unauthorized bird bath detected, potential mosquito breeding ground. The bird bath was a rain puddle. Rumors escalated too, twisting like vines. At the local coffee shop, Jack overheard two neighbors: heard that Harlem guy's dodging dues 'cause he's cheap. Probably hiding something shady. Jack paid for his latte and left without a word. But inside, he was cataloging. He started a digital folder: dates, photos, emails, all time-stamped. Mia added legal notes. This is harassment 101, she said. She's weaponizing bureaucracy. One afternoon, Barbara's minions, two polo shirt compliance officers, showed up with measuring tapes. Routine audit, one grunted. Stretching tape across the lawn. Jack approached. Gentlemen, you're on private property. The shorter one smirked. HOA property now. Per the map update. Jack pulled out his phone. Recording. Show me the recorded amendment. They exchanged glances, packed up, and scurried off. That night, an anonymous note appeared: pay up or pack up, community doesn't tolerate freeloaders. Jack added it to the file, his patience a sharpening blade. Barbara drove by daily now, slowing the glare. Her SUV a rolling judgment. She's scared, Mia observed. Losing one house means others might question her throne. Jack nodded. Installing discreet cameras. Let her dig her hole deeper. We'll hand her the shovel. Tensions boiled over when Barbara crossed from petty to personal. A massive sign appeared overnight at the property line: Evergreen Heights HOA territory, violators prosecuted. Hammered deep into the soil. It blocked half the driveway view. Jack woke to the alert ping. Reviewing footage, Barbara herself. Flashlight in teeth. Pounding steaks at 2 a.m. Like a deranged surveyor. Gotcha, he whispered. Mia filed a trespass report that morning. But Barbara struck back harder, filing her own complaint. Claiming Jack had verbally assaulted her during a peaceful inspection. The sheriff's deputy arrived. Looking skeptical. She says you threatened to dismantle HOA assets. Jack showed the video. Assets? That's my dirt she's staking. The deputy chuckled dryly. This HOA stuff's getting out of hand. Whispers turned to outright sabotage: slashed tires on Jack's truck. Blamed on vandals, but camera caught a polo shirt fleeing. Online. Barbara posted, sad to see resistance to community values. Safety first. Jack stayed mum. But neighbors shunned him, invites to barbecues dried up. They're buying her narrative, Mia said. Jaw set. Time to flip the script. Jack emailed the county board. Attaching everything. Response: investigating potential fraud in HOA filings. Barbara panicked. Her next move: a masterclass in absurdity, a cease and desist letter from her attorney, her nephew. Demanding Jack surrender to dues or face liens. Jack laughed outright. Liens on air? Priceless. But the real escalation hit when she called an emergency neighborhood meeting at her house. Rallying supporters. That Harlan's a threat, refusing rules endangers us all. One attendee leaked audio to Jack, Barbara ranting. We'll force compliance. Or he'll regret it. Jack's resolve hardened. She's not just controlling lawns, she's controlling minds. The climax exploded on a crisp autumn evening. Sirens wailing as 2 patrol cars screeched to Jack's gate. Barbara stood triumphant. Arms crossed. As officers approached. There he is, the squatter tampering with HOA infrastructure, she declared. Pointing at Jack's freshly painted fence. He removed our boundary marker. Jack stepped out calmly. Hands visible. Officers. This is my property. She's trespassing. One cop scratched his head. Ma'am. County says this lot's independent. Barbara's face reddened. Veins bulging. Nonsense. I run this community, arrest him for defiance. Mia emerged then. Badge flashing under the lights. Gentlemen. Before you proceed. Let's clarify. Barbara's eyes widened in shock. Mouth agape like a fish flopping. Why you're... Mia nodded coolly. District Attorney Mia Harlan. And you've just filed a false police report, wasting resources. Perjury implications. The officers exchanged glances. One cuffing Barbara as she sputtered. This is outrageous. I demand my rights. Jack watched. A mix of fury and glee bubbling. Your rights. Like the ones you ignored? As she was led away. Protesting. But the community needs me. Neighbors peeked from windows. Whispers turning to gasps. The next day. Mia's investigation unearthed Barbara's dirt, forged annexation docs. Embezzled dues funneled to her consulting firm. Even bribed surveyors. In court. Barbara's facade cracked, sweating under cross-examination. It was for the greater good. The judge slammed the gavel, guilty of fraud, harassment, and abuse of power. HOA dissolved. Restitution ordered. Barbara's empire vanished. Her house sold in shame. As she fled town. Pearls and all. In the aftermath. Evergreen Heights breathed easy, no more absurd fines. Just voluntary potlucks and genuine waves. Jack hung a new sign, Private Haven. Shared respect. Mia sipped wine on the porch. Feels good to code without bugs, Jack quipped. Neighbors rebuilt. Forming a loose council sans tyrants. Jack's garden flourished. A metaphor for reclaimed freedom. But as the sun set, he pondered the irony. Barbara's quest for control left her powerless, while patience unmasked her. So, viewers, was Jack the villain for standing firm? Or was Barbara's community just a fancy word for dictatorship? Drop your thoughts. Did justice serve? Or should HOA kings and queens get a free pass?